and also my nephew Al Tariq, her first grandchild. So we paying homage to her, and we getting ready to cut this ribbon because she had this card and she always wanted to help people, and it was like, "Hi, my name is Elaine, can we talk?" In the front it says hope, acceptance, love, forgiveness, support, understanding, peace, helping hands, and then letting everybody know you are not alone. So today we're going to start a podcast in honor of her. We're going live, and we already cut the ribbon. And this is my family and our friends, and we getting ready to cut it. Everybody put their in the front. They can put your hands on up. Then hold the thing. All right. 1, 2, 3. Y'all ready? Everybody gonna say Elaine. Happy birthday, Elaine. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Elaine!
Thank you. Elaine, you can let it go. I mean, come on, don't get the mic.
We miss you.
Alright, can we get into it?
No, what I want them to do,
Live, you can't hold live. You
can't hold
You just gotta just let it flow.
go ahead. Because it's I want to this. You're going to go separate. You're going to go separate.
I can't keep
Byron.
Yeah, they're going to come back in and out, right? You're not moving. Just stay still.
Go ahead, Crystal. Say something.
I just would like to say love. Love covers the multitude of sin. And I can remember when Mommy used to go out to work. Before she left our house, she used to say, "I love you." So that's where that "I love you" was birthed out. For all our friends that know us, they can always say, if don't nobody love you, God love you. That they can hear the Lee's sisters or the Lee's family say. I'm working in the shop now where the owner said, "Crystal, since you've been here, all you brought was love. You say I love you to anyone that you just meet." And I'm so thankful that my mother taught us that love covers the multitude of sin, love and kindness where God draw thee. So I'm just so happy that we are all here, you know, just paying homage to her and remembrance. You know, unfortunately, my older sister Terry couldn't be here. I want everybody to still continue to pray for her. I mean, you know, her blood pressure and everything is coming down. Really, she just needed some rest. So here's to you, Terry.
In the hospital.
We love you.
Okay, Elaine.
Happy birthday, Ma. I'm Elaine Jr., her namesake. I'm just, you know, I call them my first loves because my brother is in heaven, my mother is in heaven, and my oldest son is in heaven. So that was my first love as a child was my mother, my first love as a sibling was my brother, and my first love as a mother was my son. And, you know, just look out for them. I love you. I want to thank you for teaching me. I was thinking about this today when, you know, I get upset at people when I don't speak to them. I always hear Mommy like, "You don't got to speak to them. I don't care who they is. What is that? If the right hand offends you, cut it off." Thank you for the words. Love you.
Go ahead, Minnie.
Okay, today is a blessed day.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It's the day Queen was born. And, you know, she's no longer with us. And I'm going to say through my own personal experiences that she saved me from myself. It saved me from what's about to come in this world. She prepared me. I didn't understand her. I was very angry with her for years. I had resentment towards her for, you know, things that, you know, the hardness and the tough love that she had on me. I understand it now. If I didn't understand her numb when she was jumping down my throat about things, I understand her now. Maybe it's something in me that she saw me, that she tried to stop that. I tried to, you know, maybe I was running for myself and she saw something in me that she tried to stop it. But I thank her for that. I thank her for the tough love. And I'm just so upset that she's gone because now that I'm raising kids on my own, I need her. I need her guidance. I need to know, for her to let me know I'm not crazy. Let me know I am doing a good job. But I can just, you know, settle it for her coming from heaven and try to guide me the best she can from heaven. I love you, Elaine. I miss you so much. There's nothing I would do to have one more conversation with you again. To bring you a Diet Pepsi or a Diet 7-Up or a hot dog with mustard on it. Just to sit and conversate with you. Hi, Elaine. Can we talk?
That was cute. Hi, my name is Dee Dee. Can we talk? I want to say happy birthday to you, Mom. When I was coming up, my mother was a little strict on me. but I thought she didn't like me. By the time I turned 18, because I couldn't get with my mother, I asked her, why did you used to do me like you do me? She would always wait till my friends come and would say, let me get dressed, and say, oh no, you look tired. You need to rest. It took me to be 18 years old for me and her to go shopping and go get my apartment stuff, and I asked her, she said, Dee Dee, I was protecting you. I said, what you mean? She said, I thought you was a follower. And she said, and I didn't know no other way. The people you were being around, they were older than you. I didn't like the things I seen that they were into, and I thought that you were going to get caught up. And she said, and that's all. I was just didn't know what I was doing. I was overprotective. I didn't know no other way. I was saving you. And that day, from 18 years old to now I'm about to be 52 years old, she not only was my mother, but she became my very best friend. She used to tell me, when Elaine said about being mad with each other, people, I used to hold grudges. I'm a Libra, and I will hold it long. Before my mother passed, and my nephew Eric, he taught me how to be humble, but before my mother passed, she told me, Dee Dee, you gotta let things go. You gotta let go and let God. She said, life is too short. She said, you gotta be there. We gotta be there for each other. Family is so important. She said, you can never get another Crystal. You can never get another Elaine. You can never get another Terry. She said, what I want y'all to do, she said, that I know I can rest and I be happy. I just want my family to be close. And I want y'all to get along. This is the season for giving and forgiving and receiving. And my mother used to always say, when something go right, hey, Dee Dee, guess what? It's a new day. This morning, 7:45 in the morning, I got a text from a friend of mine. It was a video of a guy dancing. And the guy dancing, and as he dancing, he's saying, hey, it's a new day. And then he said, you woke up this morning. She would always say, Dee Dee, how you feeling? And I say, I'm blessed like you are. She said, hey, you woke up this morning. So with that being, I just want to thank my mother for being the mother she was. She was an extraordinary, an exceptional, an amazing woman. She was different. She was unique. She didn't allow any men to come in our house without her having a talk with us before we can allow it. If my father or whoever, people didn't want to pay their way or do what they're supposed to do, she'll say, look, I'm dating such and such. I'm going to let them come with us. This way we can have a roof over our head and have some food in the refrigerator. She said if they look at you or look at any of y'all any type of way, I always watching, then they got to go. I liked her for allowing us to have a voice. And she was just wonderful for the community, for everybody. And I would call her what you would say a phenomenal woman. And I want to stand up and bow down to you, Mom, for being a phenomenal woman. Devon? Turn it.
You gonna put him on the spot? Go ahead.
I got 25. Go ahead, take your time. I got it.
What was going on? Go ahead, say something.
Other side. Other side. Turn it all the way down. Thank you. Okay.
What my grandmother always loved about me is how I dress, how I be a leader, follow my own line. She always told me, when people ask me, do I want to smoke? Do I want to drink? Do I want to do drugs? Say no to drugs, say no to smoking, say no to drinking. What she liked about me is she don't like me dressing like no criminal, no gaming. Being out on the streets, hanging on the corners. She's like when I go to church, listen to the word of God.
Yes.
And she also liked how I take care of myself and dress myself as a attractive young man. And she also liked how I take care of my sister and go to the store for her to buy her stuff that she need. Give me money to go to the store and buy her something that she need to cook. And she liked how I take care of my cousin and teach my cousin how to be a leader, not a follower.
Yes.
Like me.
That was good.
Hey y'all, everybody here knows me as Ebony, some of you know me as Lady. That's my new nickname. But I just want to say happy birthday to Mama Lee. I'm not a biological child, but she always made me feel as if I were. As a young woman, you know, she gave me a lot of guidance, she gave me a lot of direction. She always made me feel welcome and comfortable. Lots of times when I was confused and didn't know myself, she taught me a lot about being a lady and being separate from others and being able to stand up and be different from the crowd. And as my cousin said, be a leader and not a follower. I thank her for that, and the Word of God declares that God will give you people for your life. She was one of the most beautiful people that God gave me for my life. And I'm so thankful to have had the opportunity to have known her, and I know that she's resting well with Him.
Yes.
Gosh. Alright, look. Everybody know I'm dialysis chick. Alright, so this is how this gonna go. For all my EMTs, Hillside Dialysis, that was the lady. No, I gotta do this because she gave me power.
She don't want you to cry.
I'm not crying, these are happy tears. I'm somebody. Let me tell you, she gave me power. That lady gave me power. Dude, just trust me. Her and Miss Baraka. Let me just put this out here like that. I remember one time we pulled up in Hillside Dialysis and I was just going crazy over something. Yeah, I know I'm emotional, I'm an artist. Okay, so I walked in there and Crystal had just dropped her off. Excuse me. And when she saw me, she just started smiling. Because her smile was worth $1 million by itself. You cannot get that smile out of that lady unless you deserved it. She wasn't a phony, she wasn't a fake, she was a caretaker. I think that's a difference in the community with caretakers and people that's just in the community acting like they doing service. I can't really tell people what to do, but I know I serve my people. Can I get a piece of tissue, please? Because I'm getting a little bit emotional and I'm gonna catch myself. Because the spirit is just flowing. And I'm a person that deal with the spirit. I don't really deal with people in flesh because they so wishy-washy. I deal with the spirit.
Thank you.
Let me just get myself together. So anyway, let's get back to Miss Elaine. Because we all know I'm a piece of work. I'm like a fireball. So I used to come into Hillside Dialysis all the time, get my patients to get people can. What I want you to do is pay attention to the weight they pull off of you. I started teaching her the things that she needed to pay attention to. You understand? Because I had 3 friends on dialysis at this time. Mommy, Gov, and another one of my friends. I'm just leave that alone. But at the time, I was the go-to person. Everybody like, you think you're a nurse, Kristen? You think you're a nurse? No, but my grandmother was on dialysis. And this is why I became an EMT. Because I realized the lack of education was coming to saving lives in the black community. This is why I became a lifesaver. So when she walked in, I was happy because I'm a lifesaver. That's Auntie. What you doing here? What's going on? I'm walking up to all the texts like, yo, this is my aunt. Y'all better take care of her. And anybody that's at Hillside Dialysis knew that. But I had started depending on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays because I needed that life spoke back into me. If you constantly see people crashing on dialysis machines and not making it and living, their job is to get them motivated to fight. You can't be giving them no pity parties because the first thing that happens is they lose all of the blood out of their body. They're going through continuous shocks. And it makes you want to give up because it's draining. People don't understand dialysis is draining. It takes you a full day just to recover off of dialysis. Yeah. So for that lady to be who she was, you can't. The reason why I'm telling this story is because how old was Mommy when she started dialysis?
She was only about 5 years old. Like 60 something.
No.
Like 71,
Like 70.
So do you know what that means to pull through dialysis at that age?
She's 78.
You understand? So that was a big deal as in itself. So this is why I try to educate people about your kidneys, the drugs, the everything, because it don't necessarily have to happen from drugs either. But you have to be aware of your count. You have to be aware of this kind of stuff because unfortunately it's more in black families now than ever because we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not exercising, we're not getting healthy. Miss Elaine was tiny and flawless and beautiful. That lady wore maybe 115, 120. So it's not only big people that go on dialysis. High blood pressure, all of that stuff, we gotta get on top of this. So this is why when I say I'm a lifesaver with music and movies and everything, she gave me my power. Because when I pulled up in there in that ambulance, and when I pulled up, she used to just look at me because she always thought I was crazy. She'd be like, you just like Dee Dee, you just like Dee Dee. Because I never backed down for what I believe in. And she told me I was right. But everybody else around me would tell me I was wrong because I could fight. You understand? So my thing was this, I'm going to beat you up. And she used to be like, Crystal, you just like Dee Dee, come here. And I was at work. Because if you messing with patients at work, anything, I'm going in. And them nurses and them knew me about that, so they respected me. So when I introduced Ms. Elaine as my aunt, they took care of her. You understand? Yeah, I never walked in hillside dialysis and nothing was wrong with her because she was giving me love that nobody ain't give me. And I love you and thank you and now I'm doing it and I got my power back and it's not about nothing else. I'm just happy because that lady was in my life and she was special. And when I tell you, she made me turn up on everybody because I even let a couple of her family members get over that I was going to beat up like, all right, man, you got that. Because I loved her. So it's just the blessing of she was able to be in my life.
Okay. Now you come on say something? Okay, so we going to I want to find him. He said he want to, I want Hadid. Yeah. We gonna, y'all want to still see it or how we gonna do it? Okay, come on. You gonna go, how you let me do what you want to say?
I'm about to be an actor.
Yeah.
You ready for me?
Yes.
No, you ready for me?
They say good job. Yeah, they say that's good.
That cute one.
I want to say,
You'll never hold no person unless for your face.
God bless us all. God has blessed us all. God will keep blessing us all. And I want to thank Elaine Lee for introducing me to her 3 dolls.
Thank you.
And meeting the family that's still with me today.
Yeah.
I stand corrected forgot Terry. Terry. But I want to thank Elaine for allowing me to be in her family's life. And I just want to thank her for being the person that she was and that she is in the community. That community, this community, and whatever community she will deal with from here on. I just want to thank her for her beautiful daughters, Krista, Darnella, Dimples.
That's Elaine.
That's Elaine, I know, I'm just being smart.
I'm Dimples, I'm Dimples.
Being smart. We know who Dimples and Terry. Yes. So I just want to thank her and thank the girls, the ladies for being and loving me, and being a friend to me and family to me. And I want to thank you ladies very much.
You're welcome.
For being my friend all through all these eons. And I'm going to say, hey, Lane. Hey, right. But she's a love to say it. Hey, y'all. So that's all I have to say. I don't have all those words and this, that, and the other. But you do know, understand that I do love you and your family, entire family. You know, so, and I thank you. Thank you.
I got to tell a little story that leads up to this. I ended up in prison doing a life sentence at 17 years old. And in the 8th year of my sentence, my mother died of cancer at 45. This was sudden, and prior to that, my brother had been gunned down while I was incarcerated in my 3rd year. So I lost my older brother at 26 years old. I lost my mother at 45 years old. And it was a wise man that I met in the prison who was very respected in the prison system. And when my mother went into a coma a couple of days, maybe 10 days before she died, this gentleman was, said to me, well, at least she's not suffering anymore. But then when she died, it was the morning after my 25th birthday. So I'm sitting in prison, and my mother has passed away at 45 years old. And this man said to me, he said, no pleasure is lost. It only goes to make way for a greater pleasure. And I remember thinking to myself, well, what pleasure could be greater than my mother? Well, I learned very quickly what that meant. Because following that, 2 years later, I met my wife while I was incarcerated. And my wife, who has now been with me over 31 years, stuck by me for 9 years behind the wall, visiting me every opportunity that she got. And what I also learned was that I would oftentimes come in contact with prisoners whose mothers adopted me the same way. The rest of the story is that I, of course, created a nonprofit organization while I was incarcerated called Prodigal Sons and Daughters, which is 30 years old now. But the reason why I'm telling this here is because I met Khalif in the last 2 years of my sentence. And when I met Khalif, Khalif was amazing to me immediately, because when I first saw him, I saw this menacing presence coming down the walk in the prison. And as I was watching him come down, I noticed that all the guys who, if they didn't respect my reputation, they were the guys that were around Khalif like puppies. I mean, bouncing up and down. I said, this man, who is this man? And Khalif came over and he walked towards the yard and he turned and came towards me. So the guys who were with me looked at me and said, you know this dude is coming this way, right? So I said, yeah. So he got to me and he got about 4 feet from me and he said, excuse me. He said, are you Hadi? I said, yeah. He said, brother, I heard about you. I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah. He said, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, yeah. So me and him began to walk the yard. And he said to me, I know you saw all these guys around me. I said, yeah. He said, man, these jokers, that's because these jokers know. So I said, okay. He said, I don't want them to know none of my business. So that's why I'm coming to talk to you. I said, okay. He said, are you the brother that makes those greeting cards? So I said, yeah. He said, brother, them some nice cards. He said, but I need your help for something. I'm wondering if you could help me. And I'm telling how we met. And he said, I said, what's up? He said, see, I can't read that good. I can't read and write that good. And it's things I be wanting to say to my girl, and I don't know how to put it. So I said, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy I thought was ready to come to me with something crazy, and I was going to have a problem here. Because I just seen the power he got. And this guy is coming to me because he wants me to help him write stuff in a greeting card to his lady. And he don't want nobody else to know. And the only reason why he let me know is because he done heard you thorough. Well, that's how me and Khalif met. I said, brother, that ain't no problem. Me and Khalif ended up in an office that the officers let me set up. And in that office, Khalif and I began to write not only the cards, but the letters. I helped him write the letters. Khalif told me right then, he used to scream out, "Hadi! I love you, brother." And I was thinking to myself, Khalif, you can't be saying you love me up in the jail. And if that wasn't bad enough, he would grab me in this bear hug and kiss me on the cheek. And here we are, the two baddest dudes in the jailhouse, and everybody's standing there watching these two guys kiss. And he did not care. But I say that because as soon as I got out and I came in contact with Khalif, we kept having these short conversations. He kept saying, "I need to talk to you, Hadi." I said, "All right, Khalif, let's do it." Well, I didn't get a chance to have that conversation with my brother, but I sensed a sense of urgency. And he just said to me, "If I had you with me, man, we take everything." And I said, "Khalif, come on." He knew what that meant. I don't want no parts of that. Then I ended up in Khalif's family's house.
Before that,
right?
You saw him, he gave you some money, said, "Well, shop."
Yeah, that was interesting. I was going to parole. I was on my way to parole. I'm walking, I ain't got a car, I ain't got nothing. I'm just getting out. Khalif is, I'm on Sanford and South Orange Avenue crossing. Khalif is getting ready to stop at the light. Khalif sees me, he jumps out of the car, door opens, screams, "Hadi!" And I turned around and I said, "Oh my God, I know who that is." Khalif comes over to me, same hug, whip, kissing me out in the street. "Love you, Hadi." I said, "All right, bro." I said, "Listen, I gotta go to parole." He said, "Nah." He said, "Where you going?" I said, "I gotta go to parole." He said, "Here, Hadi, take this." Came out of his pocket and just put that in my hands. And of course, a brother trying to do the right thing, trying to stay away from the madness. This brother put $2,500 in my pocket, and I'm walking to parole. I gotta cut it short, but this is because I want to get to Mr. Lane. First of all, I had already, by this time, met Dee Dee. I can't even remember.
You tapped me, but
Yeah.
no, at this gym. I mean, it was at the the clubhouse on Spruce Street with Mumid. I was going to train for boxing. I had what's a picture on in my shirt, and you tapped me.
That's right.
And you said, I was at the clubhouse on Spruce Street, and I was going to sign up so I can get a membership to train to box. God bless Sawab, Sawab. He would take me back and forth to Philadelphia. I would watch different movies, and there was a guy, Baha, God bless Baha, and Baha was supposed to train me. So the deal was, I was supposed to make contact, which I ended up making contact through a friend of mine's, two mutual friends, that I wanted to box Layla Ali. And the deal was that every round that I last, I wanted her to put up a youth center. I wanted to be in Newark, I wanted to be in Atlanta, Georgia, I wanted to be in Chicago, where every area where everything was like the kids and everybody was just killing themselves. I wanted to set the fight up to be in the arena downtown Newark. And the deal was, when I went in there, at the time it was a guy, Kato Muhammad, Miss Muhammad, running it. So when I came in, it was me and a guy named Mumid. Mumid said, "Okay, let's go down here and get the train. I'm going to train you up." So when we go down there, I says to the guy, I can't think of the guy, was a trainer, light-skinned guy, and I said, "I need to sign up. I want to get a membership because I need to train so I can get myself in shape to box Layla Ali." And he bust out laughing. And he said, "Layla Ali?" He said, wait a minute, Larry! Larry, come in here. Which was Larry Hazard. At the time, he was the commissioner. He had a little situation. They brought him to the club. I'm puny, don't get it twisted. I could work out in a month and I'll be buff. This in my family, it's in my blood. So he said, "You want to fight Layla?" I said, "Yeah." He said, give me a reason why you think you can beat labor. I said, well, it's in my blood. My Uncle Spooky. He said, Spooky? Spooky who? I said, John White. He said, wait a minute. She don't have to pay for the membership. Come here, I want to show you something. He take me in the gym, and in the gym it's a big thing, picture, like a big thing, and you got all the Johnsons, Freddie Johnson, Uncle Spooky, all the people. He said, you talking about him? I called, God bless him, his son Rockmine. Rockmine, I got him on the phone. Rockmine, tell this guy who I am to you. Tell him I'm your cousin. He talking to him. After we talked, he said, okay, say no more. You can get a free membership. While we all standing, he tapped me. I had my shirt on that had Walt Enterprise. My brother's name was Walter. I started this thing called Walt, We Are Loyal Too. So I had the shirt, I had a basketball team. I had my brother's picture on the back. He comes in the gym. He taps on me and says, excuse me. I turn around and I look at him. Yes. And when I looked at him, it scared me. Because soon when I saw him, I saw my brother, but browner. When I looked at him, he said, you, who? The guy in your back, Walter Lee. Who? How do you know him? And I said, that was my little brother. He said, wow. I'm glad I've been looking for Khalif family. I wanted to meet Khalif family. And I said, what are you doing? I think it was Thursday. Because we do this thing from the 28th. He said, and I said, come on by. I said, we do a tribute to him. We don't do Thanksgiving. We just do it to him. And that's how I met you. And then you came by, you met my mother when you came to the house.
Yeah, and she, the same reaction. She had the same reaction. Her reaction was like, oh my God, look at him. And I'm standing there, this is the last thing I expected. But what was important to me was the way she kind of looked into me and adopted me like a son. And now it's hitting me what I had been told all those years. I had been told that, no, you're going to receive other mothers. And now I'm sitting here saying, now, who would have thought, when me and Khalif spent all that time on that bed, that I would end up being the son that would represent him before his family? Who would have thought that? And that's why me and Khalif, this organization that I have had for 30 years, one thing I learned about Khalif, whatever you thought about him, some people just knew Khalif from the streets. But I knew, and he knew, that this was a very intelligent guy because he was no-nonsense guy. And I mention this because I would talk to him about the organization I was going to create. And Khalif would sit here with me, and while I was talking about this organization, Khalif would say to me, you could do that, Hadi. Then he say, Hadi! Whatever.
It's funny that he's saying that like that, because that's how Mommy used to do for everybody's name too. Dang! Like she was always so extra and so lovely, so when you do that, I can't help but laugh.
And he would do that anywhere in the prison. I mean, I knew Khalif was somewhere near, because as soon as I got in sight, he would scream that. But he and I never knew. We never knew. We sitting there and we're talking about this organization that I'm gonna create. And I knew he was down. And he told me, he said, Hadi, when I got out and he gave me that money, he said, listen, he said, if you have any beefs with anybody out here, don't argue with them. He said, call me, Hadi. And I said, I'm thinking to myself, Khalif, that's the last thing I'm going to do, is call you. But when I found out I had to find his family, because I never got to the point of finding his family. And when I sat up in that house with his family, it was difficult for me. Because I'm sitting here and I'm hearing everything that tells me about the spirit of this brother and how I never saw this happening. And his mother then embracing me the way she did, like a son. I just want to conclude by saying to Miss Elaine that your son lives and you live.
Amen.
Because that work that's going on Avon Avenue, at 60 Evergreen Place in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're stretching out to other places. Your son played a role in that. And I won't let him be forgotten. I won't let that happen. Because I know he walks with me all the time. I know that.
Can I get his cut?
Yeah. Well, we're going to give his cut.
That's the manager, right?
We're going to give his cut to the people. Because he knew that this is what this work was all about.
All right.
We gave him, because people associate Khalif to something illegal and something bad. And Khalif sat in that prison. And I wish I could have gotten out before him. Because if I would have came out ahead of him, I had every intentions of pulling him my way. But he got out there before me. And that's the way God wanted it. So I don't argue that. But I'm saying, well, every time you see that organization, you're seeing Khalif. So, happy birthday, Miss Elaine. This is a joyous day for all of us.
What about some poetry?
Thank you. We love you. We love you, Mom. Thank you.
Love you, Mom.